Headlines most affecting Chilliwack this week. Remembrance Day events within the city. The school board goes online for safety. Flood fears after last weekend's rains. And the Spartans Swim Club picking up some hardware at UBC. And we'll have more in sports in just a minute. Our guests this week include a couple of members of the Chilliwack Players Guild, as well as organizers of the Fraser Valley Record Fair. And we mentioned sports. Grade 9 student Logan Meijer will be having the honors. All right, Chilliwack, let's get started. Remembrance Day is Saturday. There are a number of ceremonies throughout the Fraser Valley, so what you need to do is go to the social media for your local municipality or their legion for more details. In Chilliwack, there are 3 events, including Garrison by the old CFB Chilliwack site, the downtown Cenotaph, and the Stallo headquarters on Vedder, honoring Indigenous veterans. In Chilliwack, the October 10th school board meeting was greeted by protesters who were outside and tried to drown out and interrupt the meeting. The protesters ranging from individuals to members of Action for Canada and the Million-Person March. Well, this week, the school board meeting was moved to Zoom for security reasons, and that might be the norm for the next couple of meetings. Now, there was a message from the Chilliwack school superintendent commenting on those disruptions. Last weekend's atmospheric river brought a scare to a ton of people in the valley. It was memories of November 14th of 2021, and that flooding was in the minds of many in the back of their heads, let alone into the streets, basements, and parkades taking on water. While this was not as bad as 2 years ago, social media was, and we pardon the pun, flooded with pictures and video. Fortunately, most of the pooling was gone within 12 hours. The picture you're seeing here, that's from the parking lot of Multipack Deli. Hope RCMP confirming that a body was located at the scene of a motorhome fire that happened October the 30th on Silver Skagit Road. The cause of the fire remains under investigation, but it does not appear suspicious at this time. Hope RCMP and the BC coroner have yet to confirm the identity of that victim. With the recent resignation of Hope Councillor Crystal Sador, the District of Hope is now going to hold a by-election to fill the vacancy. So advance polls are November the 15th and the 18th. The general voting day, November 22nd from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the District of Hope Municipal Office at 325 Wallace Street. Chilliwack Players Guild returning to the stage with a new comedy called The Glitter Girls. This runs at Rotary Hall at the Chilliwack Cultural Center. Starts November the 23rd, runs to December the 3rd. Coming up in a couple of minutes' time, we'll talk to a couple of cast members from that show. Fraser Valley Record Fair takes place Sunday, November the 19th at the historic and old Princess Armories building. Starts at 10, runs to 4. Admission is $2. Everything is there. LPs, 45, CDs, tapes, T-shirts, memorabilia. There will be refreshments on site. The fair is being run by Evan Mcdowell and Ryan Wugalter, so a little backstory here. They both grew up and worked at record stores in Chilliwack. Evan eventually moved on and worked at a record store in Vancouver. Ryan went on to organize the Vinyl Supernova Fair in Victoria. We'll have that interview as well as Chilliwack Players Guild coming up in a few minutes' time. Also, we'll take a look at the Spartans Swim Club, and they showed their stuff at UBC. Sports with a very special job shadow student, Logan Meijer. He's coming up in just a minute. This week continues with something that's near and dear to my heart, and that's records and CDs and vinyl and all that other stuff. And the first ever, I'm surprised that this is the first ever, Fraser Valley Record Fair. It's coming up Sunday, November the 19th, Princess Armories in Chilliwack. Evan and Ryan, you guys put this thing together.
Yes.
Now, you're not newbies to this. You've been around these type of events for a long time. Your background?
Yeah, so I worked at the Bookman for many years, and I was kind of in charge of the record section there while I was there. And then when I moved off to Victoria, I started off a record fair there called Vinyl Supernova. Mm-hmm. And it started small, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then I had a baby, moved back to Chilliwack, And then me and Evan started talking, and we're like, there's never any record fairs in Chilliwack. Let's make one.
Yeah. Evan, your background?
Well, I've been working in record stores since I was a teenager, going back to CD Plus in Cottonwood Mall. So
let's go back a few years, huh?
Yeah, and then from
That's
there...
actually where, that's where we met.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Oh, cool.
We haven't talked about that. His mom was my boss there.
Yeah, my mom was the manager
neat.
there.
Yeah.
It's like
So a real circular event. But yeah, after that, I worked at a record store in Vancouver for about a decade.
Which one?
And Red Cat Records.
Okay.
you
Bringing
go.
back memories.
Yep.
Well, Red Cat, Black Swan.
Yes.
There was Zulu. Well, Zulu, I think, is still
It's
around.
still there.
Still around.
Still there.
Yeah.
Not as big
That's
as it
right.
used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when I first saw this, talking about Vancouver, and there's the big record swap meet that's in the spring and the fall at the Croatian Cultural Center.
Yes.
Is it, for those of us who do those things, check them out, is it about as big? Because the Princess Armory is a huge building.
It is, yeah.
It is a huge building. We're trying to pack it full of vendors. We've got, I think, about 25 to 30 vendors booked right now.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, so it might not be quite as huge as
Yeah.
the Vancouver one because just the population of Chilliwack.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be pretty impressive. It's going to be the best record store in town for one day only.
Well, there's still 1/3 people in the valley.
There is.
true.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
And there's a
That's
ton of record buyers.
There is
definitely.
demand, yes.
Yeah.
Are you hoping, excuse me, for any celebrities? Because how many times, and I keep thinking of pictures of when Neil Young goes record shopping, or Jimmy Page was just on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and he was talking about Link Ray Records, and I remember seeing a picture of him, and everybody's going, "Is that who?" Yeah, I'm just looking. Thank you. Yeah.
Elton John last year in Vancouver as well.
Okay,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Anybody that may be showing up for this?
Well, you're going to be there, I heard, aren't you? Yeah.
Excuse me. I plan on it. I plan it. Now, is there an admission fee?
It's $2.
Oh, dirt cheap.
Totally.
Yep.
And it's just to cover the basic expenses.
Pretty
and
much.
such?
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Website information, social
Facebook.
media.
Facebook, Instagram, yep.
Okay. And there's plenty of parking around in the area. So again, the first ever Fraser Valley Record Fair. It's Sunday, November the 19th, Princess Armories in Chilliwack. This is open to everybody anywhere, let alone the Fraser Valley. You guys kind of nervous?
I'm just excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pumped.
Are you nervous?
Well, you've been through this before, but
We have covered every base we possibly can, so
Yeah.
it's kind of up to chance now.
The people bring the party, right?
Yeah.
As soon as the doors open, the thing just has a life of its own.
will there be refreshments in that? I know there is a
yeah.
canteen in the building.
Yeah, we have a food truck. We've invited the Just Jerkin' Around
Oh, okay,
Caribbean
cool.
cuisine
Yeah.
food truck to park outside, and
Great stuff.
yeah. So
We will see you there. Again, it's
Right.
Sunday, November the 19th. Thanks for coming in.
yeah, thanks for
Thank you
having
very
us.
much.
You're watching This Week. This week continues, and this is where we have some fun because anytime we bring theater people on, we have no idea what's going to happen. Chilliwack Players Guild, the Glitter Girls coming up. Mary Ellen Shimell?
Shimell.
I'll get it right. No rehearsal. And Raymond Hatton. This is why I'm in television. And I have a teleprompter. But seriously, Glitter Girls, this sounds like a really, really funny show. You tell us about it.
Well, it is a funny show. And I have described it on the poster as it's Steel Magnolias meets Survivor. Huh? To give you a, yeah. So what it is the character Trudy, who happens to be Mary Ellen, has sold her snood factory.
Can we say that on TV?
Yes. you
Okay.
can, Yeah. Snoods are what goes on the back of your head. Women used to wear
If
them.
you watch period dramas.
Period
they're-
dramas, yeah.
You'll learn
So
something,
believe
yeah.
it or not, she has a snood factory and has sold it for $51 million.
That's a lot of snoods.
That's
Yeah,
a lot of
a
snoods.
lot
That's a lot of
snoods.
snoods.
And who was buying it? We don't
Who
know.
knows?
But she's giving the part of her part of her money to one of her Glitter Girl sisters. There's a group of them, and they've been together for 16 years. And she's decided that 16 million of that is going to go to one of them. So that's how Survivor. So
Yeah. Yeah. So she calls them together and says, "This is what I'm doing. Figure it out."
They don't go to a remote island or
No, no.
okay.
All
the island is off her back porch.
Her back porch. Someone get voted off the porch.
Oh, got it. Okay, there's the Survivor thing. Got
Yeah,
it.
so as they're fighting it out, secrets come out. Their friendships are tested. But there's some really funny things that happen and some
Absolutely.
really touching things
Yeah,
that happen.
absolutely.
So it's a wonderful show.
And then on top of that, just to add another layer, they all think that Trudy is dying of some rare disease. which
Snood related?
not
No.
okay. Luckily not snood related. And she's called
I'd
them all
ask.
together, and this is
Yeah.
her pretext for getting them there.
Yeah.
Was this originally, out of curiosity, a Broadway or off Broadway, or?
No, it was written by a playwright who is out of Georgia himself. So that the Glitter Girls is it's a very southern.
Yeah. We're up in Georgia.
Yeah,
okay,
and
with
so-
the accent. Yeah.
With-
all
the
the
accent.
accents and with a lot of southern references and funny character names, and it's very funny. But I don't believe it's been on Broadway or off Broadway.
No.
And I do believe we're the Canadian premiere of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. This is going to be fun.
Yeah.
It is a lot of fun, especially because it's a real ensemble piece.
Yeah.
Every character has their moment.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's nobody that stands out as the star or anything like that. Everybody has their moment. Everybody has their story to tell, and everybody does it really well.
We do, and we have a cast of 10, so it's it's like herding cats. So yes, and mostly women.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to go there.
Say no.
The period piece, I guess the sets have got to be, and the costumes have got to be unbelievable.
Well, it takes place in modern day.
Oh, okay.
So it's her back porch with a beautiful garden and stuff down there. And when people get voted off the porch, they go sit in the garden.
In the garden.
Oh, okay. For a second, I thought you said sit in the audience, but
No, we didn't have them go quite that.
yeah, okay.
But they're banished to the herb garden.
To the herb garden, yes.
Love it. Okay, product placement here.
Definitely.
Now, is this in the full theater, or is this going to be in Rotary? Or?
It's in the Rotary.
It's in the smaller
yes,
theater?
It's in the smaller theater. Tickets you can get online at the Chilliwack culturalcenter.ca, and you just follow the links and find our play and buy tickets. And we hope they're going to be going fast. So I know that
What?
the last
You
day
were
is
saying
already
one.
almost sold out. So
Yeah.
get your tickets.
Okay, so this is, once again, the Glitter Girls. It's the Chilliwack Players Guild. It starts November the 23rd. Final curtain is December the 3rd. Mary Ellen, Raymond, thanks again.
Thank you.
Oh, thank
This
you.
is going to be a lot of fun. And you're watching this week.
Thanks, Don. Now let's do some sports. After picking up a win the night prior, the UFV women's Cascades basketball team made it 2-2 nights as they topped the UNBC Timberwolves 98-60 on Saturday in Prince George. The Cascades now return to Abbotsford for their home opener against the University of Victoria on Friday, November 10th at the UFV Athletic Center. Dylan Kinley notched a triple-double as the UFV men's Cascades basketball team defeated the UNBC Timberwolves 90-88 on Saturday in Prince George. The Cascades are back in action next Friday and Saturday for their first home games of the year against the University of Victoria. Game times are set for 8 p.m. and 7 p.m. respectively, and tickets can be purchased online at gocascades.ca/tickets. Congratulations to Niall Johnson and Callie Saunders of the Spartans Swim Club, who both had great swims at the 2023 Odlum Brown College Cup, with Niall's top swim earning him third place for his 200 freestyle. The UBC Thunderbirds swept top spot on the podium to conclude the second and final day of racing at the swim meet that showcased 250 top swimmers from Western Canada inside the UBC Aquatic Center. Sardis Secondary is proud to be hosting the 2023 AAA Field Hockey Provincials this week, the highest level of competition in high school sport, and Sardis Secondary Falcons will compete to be a top 12 team in BC. With teams coming from all over the province, over 200 field hockey players will be in town this week, competing to be BC's best. Both local schools, Sardis and GW Graham, will be competing in the tournament. Good luck. Coming up, we got Cari with the weather.
chillTV weekend weather. So, Cari, are we going to have the same rain scare this weekend as we did last weekend?
Oh, Logan, you did great and you were so close. I'm Cari with the weather. Next week, pretty much same old, lots of rain. Temperatures not so high. We're going to maybe get up to 10, but down to 7. And later on next week, all the way down to 5s. Thursday, we might have some sun, but I wouldn't bet on it. The sad thing is, yes, Saturday we are going to have a lot of rain for Remembrance Day. Fact of the week, Remembrance Day used to be called Armistice Day and was first observed in the British Commonwealth in 1919, which was 1 year after the end of the First World War. I hope everybody takes a moment this weekend to think of those who are serving and remember those who have served. Back to you.
Thanks, Cari, and thank you for watching. If you have a local news story you'd like us to report on, send us a note, or your video, or your pictures, or all three, to news@chilltv.ca. Thanks for watching. Again, a reminder, Remembrance Day is on Saturday. Please get out to one of those ceremonies. I'm Don Lehn.